Hello everyone, my name is Helly. And a few years ago, someone asked me a simple question. How are you feeling? And I froze. Not because I didn't have emotion, but because I couldn't name them. My mind completely blanked when it came to recognizing what I was feeling. And that was the moment I realized something uncomfortable. I wasn't lacking intelligence. I was lacking introspection. I noticed in real life, we don't struggle because we feel too much. We struggle because we don't know what we're feeling. So we devote to easy words, like, I'm fine, which is fascinating because fine can mean absolutely anything. It can mean I'm okay, I'm not okay, or I'm about to cry. And when we don't name emotions, we suppress them. And suppressed emotions, unfortunately, don't disappear. They just come back later, usually at 2 a.m. when you're trying to sleep. But they also show up in other pleasant ways, like procrastination, irritability, burnout, lack of motivation, and sudden emotional crashes. We think we're being rational, but actually we're being disconnected from ourselves. Researchers saw something really important. Is that emotional recognition comes before emotional regulation. And psychologists like James Gross and Lisa Feldberg shows that when we accurately label our emotions, our emotional system makes it easier to manage. So in similar terms, when you name a feeling, you create distance from it. When you ignore it, it controls you. And teenager cycles experience this especially strongly because our brains are still under construction. Our emotional system, which is a limbic system that lies deep within our brain, is running full volume, while our rational system, which is a prefrontal cortex, that's located right behind our forehead, is still in the progress of development. Therefore, in daily life, especially at school, we are taught how to study and not how to feel. We learn how to succeed outwardly while staying strangers to ourselves. For me, this problem stayed invisible for years, until it started to show up in math class. So I made a plan about how I was going to get better at math. So I practiced, I reviewed, and have done extra problems. And then the test came back. And the score was much higher than I expected. You think that would motivate me? But it didn't. My motivations disappeared so fast I should be reported missing. And I stopped wanting to practice completely. And at first, I couldn't explain it because my ability had magically improved and I knew that. But inside, everything felt tangled, messy, like a knot I couldn't undo. And I could have just said, meh, weird, and moved on, but instead, I looked inward. And one day, in class, it hit me. My motivation wasn't really about learning math. It wasn't even about improving my skills. It was outcompeting others. And my drive was shaped by the external gaze. And when I won, my motivation disappeared because the competition was gone. And that realization was uncomfortable. But it was powerful because it made me ask myself, why do I actually want to study? And what does that say about me? And this is what I call the inward gaze. The difference between the external gaze and the inward gaze is that the external gaze tells us how good we look, how we rank, how we compare, and how we're judged. But the internal gaze asks, what am I actually feeling? Why does this matter to me? What am I afraid of? What do I truly want? The internal gaze is uncomfortable because, firstly, it is quiet. So others cannot see the revolutionary changes happening in your inside. And secondly, it is true and honest. So removes excuses. However, it is also the only way we can develop and understand our own identity, one that isn't borrowed from expectations. Now the question is, how can you practice this? And here are 3 simple tools anyone can use. The first tool is a pause and name rule. When something feels off, pause and ask, what am I feeling? Seriously. Do not use vague words like fine or bad. Try to use specific words to create clarity. And after you have a basic understanding of your emotions, we can move to the second tool, which is the gentle why question. Not to judge yourself, but to understand. You can ask yourself questions like, why does this trigger me? Or in my case, why did I lose motivation? And they should be based on curiosity and not criticism. And third is a very important tool. Separate emotion from identity. Feeling unmotivated doesn't mean you're unmotivated. Feeling anxious doesn't mean you're weak. Emotions are just information to know yourself better and not definitions of your character. We live in a world obsessed with how we're seen. But the most important gaze is the one no one else can give us. Because when we name our feeling, we don't become weaker. We become clear and stronger. So here's my proposition. The next time you feel stuck, unmotivated, or overwhelmed, don't look outward for answers. Turn inward. So now, let me leave you with one question. How are you feeling? Thank you.